Now, we're fast approaching the end of the financial year, and with that often comes a push to switch health insurance funds because you know that they have the incentives out there. That's right, and they're telling you join now, you can save on your tax. And so health funds are actually preparing for their busiest day of the year.
Today's the last day.
Today is the last day, that's right. And today or tomorrow? No, tomorrow. Tomorrow's the last day of the financial year. But either way, health funds are preparing for it. And joining us now is Joel Gibson. He's the campaign director at One Big Switch because it is apparently a lot easier to change health insurance funds than we might think. Good morning, Joel.
Good morning.
So is it today or is it tomorrow that's the last day?
Tomorrow's the last day, so there are certain penalties that can kick in if you don't have your health insurance in place by July 1, and that means that most funds, the call centres will be open till midnight tomorrow and in some cases today as well.
Okay.
Now, Joel, I have actually personally been looking at changing my health insurance recently. We know that the prices are going up. It seems all daunting, but does it have to be that hard?
It doesn't have to be. I mean, we get this from a lot of people. They look at the products and they find it hard to make an apples-for-apples comparison. There are actually tens of thousands of different health insurance products out there in the market. So, it can be a bit daunting. But in reality, we say to people, when you have to hire a tradie to do a job on your house, say a painter, you don't get quotes from tens of thousands of different tradies. You tend to get 3 quotes, gives you a pretty good handle on the market, and then you feel like you're making a good decision.
Do you think it's a fair comparison, though, a tradie and health insurance? I mean, I don't know. Some people would probably invest more into a health insurance decision than a trade. There's probably more kind of long-term connections with your health insurance than, with a job done by a tradie, job done gone.
Well, there are, but at the same time, there are lots of tiny little permutations and variations in health insurance products that we think at the end of the day don't make a great deal of difference. Right. There are still broad categories, and if you get the right broad category for you, if you want to spend a little bit of extra time to find exactly the right product, then go for it. But as long as you get something which broadly meets your needs, which has your must-haves and some of your nice-to-haves, and, is at a premium level that you're comfortable with paying, we reckon you've had a win.
Can people be put off, though, by the thought of they might lose out on their waiting periods, or they're not really sure if it's worth the hassle in the switch anyway?
Yes, absolutely. So about 5% of people switch health insurance every year. Now, that's just a fraction of certain other products on the household budget, like electricity, for example, which obviously not in WA where you can't switch electricity, but around the country where you can, the rates are about 25% of people switching each year. So health insurance is way down there. We'd love to see it higher because a more competitive industry features more movement by customers, more switching. That forces providers to try harder to keep you and win you over.
That's right.
But some of those...
Good incentive in there to make everybody more honest in the process, or more competitive in the process. But how easy is it? Because I know we've done it once or twice, and I say we, and I mean my wife. I don't actually know. She did all the research and the actual switching process. I figure it's easier than changing banks, isn't it?
It certainly is. There's a lot less paperwork involved in changing banks. In fact, the actual process itself is very simple. As you pointed out, it's a comparison of products that often trips people up. Right. And we say to people, don't sweat the small stuff. The worst thing you can do is do nothing at all and just slowly have your premium ratcheted up over years, gone up by 72% over about the last 5 years alone. So the biggest problem is, of course, that some of the things stopping people from switching are not entirely true. You don't have to reserve your waiting periods if you switch, not if you switch to a comparable product, for example. And as I say, it's not as hard as some people think, and you can save in some cases hundreds of dollars on your premium just by switching to a very similar product with one of the other funds. So it's definitely worth it. It's worth spending a little bit of time on. You could have a big win.
And Joel, just finally, we are gearing up for the end of the financial year. If people are considering it, it's definitely worth checking out?
Absolutely. There's a lot of help out there for you if you want it. Come to onebigswitch.com.au, our website. Go to the government comparison website if you want to see every single plan on the market. The important thing is you do something if you feel like you're paying too much and not getting good value for your cover. Because if you do make that first move, often, you'll save some money, you'll feel like you've had a win. And the proof is in the pudding. We've surveyed over 1,500 people who've done it in the last 2 years. 80% said it was easy or very easy. They'd recommend others do the same, and they were satisfied or extremely satisfied with their decision. So take it from people who've done it. It does pay to switch.
Joel, thanks for your time this morning. We really do appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Thanks very much.
Joel Gibson, Campaign Director at One Big Switch.